Today, we're going to talk about why I left ALPHALETE and why it's actually because of you. Before we get to that, I had a tummy tuck 9 days ago. For those who are new to the channel, I lost 158 pounds in 1 year and got a bunch of loose skin in the process. So for the sake of documentation, I'm just going to grab my weight this morning because we gained 22 pounds of water after the surgery and I was tracking to see how fast I was going to lose it. And then we're going to jump right into it. 249.9. And it was 242 just before going into surgery, so we're almost back. So we're gonna break this video down into 3 parts. It's gonna be the good, the less good, and then I guess the straw that broke the camel's back. And then at the end of it all, I'm gonna let you all know what's going to be happening next. So no, this is not clickbait in any way, shape, or form. I am not with the company anymore, but I want to explain what I meant by saying that this is not just about me, it's not about the brand, it's actually about you guys. So let's start with the good. And yes, there's a lot of positive here. ALPHALETE is definitely some of the best clothing that I've ever personally worn. I remember when I first got my first set of ALPHALETE clothing through a gift card that I had won, I honestly didn't want to wear it to the gym because it felt so nice. So in terms of the brand and the material and the clothing themselves, it's completely top notch. And like I've said from the beginning, I never would ever partner with a company that I didn't either use and or believe in the first place. And you have to also remember that when I first got the sponsorship was by winning Summer Shredding, at which point I had just finished losing an incredible amount of weight. And I actually had no clothing that fit me in my wardrobe. It was all my old fat clothing that was really loose and it just didn't have anything. So in that sense, it was amazing. I have a whole new wardrobe of clothing now because I was getting a ton of clothing every month. So in terms of like fitted athletic wear, I'm stacked. I'm good. And so when I won Summer Shredding at first, I was brought into the affiliate program. That's what I won as a prize. And then the first sale came up, which I believe it was in December. It was one of the big ones. No, it was Black Friday. And the Black Friday sale was crazy. I remember Earth Dye joggers were like 10 bucks or something. So obviously that sale completely crushed and I guess I outperformed a lot of people. And so I performed so well in that sale that I was asked, hey, would you like to join the athlete program as an exclusive athlete? And I was like, sweet, because that would mean, I assumed, more support, more recognition. You know, I brought on to photo shoots, do the whole thing. I was like, hell yeah, I wanna get more exposure through this. This is awesome. So on the consumer side of things, I have and will never have anything bad to say about ALPHALETE. Whenever there's ever been problems in terms of the shipment, the fulfillment, and any of the sort, you can see Christian, his entire team is so on it when it comes to listening to people's feedback and then adjusting, pivoting, and figuring out how to fix these issues. Bringing us to the less good aspect of it, which I guess would be more so my athlete facing side into the brand, that's where things started getting not so amazing. And one of the big reasons is simply the fact that my audience doesn't really mesh well with ALPHALETE. So if I can bring in my entire audience down into a avatar that is generally either male or female, mostly males, 85% males, 15% female, where this person is a young adult wanting or in the process of losing weight, right? That would represent the majority of my audience. And one of the biggest issues is that ALPHALETE makes, for the most part, yes, they have some oversized pieces and such, but for a lot of the pieces, it's very fitted. Like this shirt, as an example, is, you know, it's very tight around my chest. And for some people that are in the middle of their weight loss journeys or about to start or haven't started yet, you can see how it just wouldn't really work because I was wearing a lot of the double, triple XL clothing in ALPHALETE, and I still do that now. So somebody that's still in the mid 300s, that just wouldn't really work. And that became very crystal clear because my best sale month ever with them was actually August that just passed when they released the mineral tee, which was like an oversized shirt. It was like very big, very comfortable. And guess what? I sold a bunch of those, right? So that was like a good indication that my audience doesn't mesh with ALPHALETE. But another thing is that my body, and I guess me, doesn't really mesh with it as well on their social media as much. Because I mean, I was with them for almost a year now, and I was never reshared onto their stories, and I was put into, I think, 2 carousels at like the back end of it. So like, and again, this isn't against the brand, it's just, I get it. Like, I'm trying to become an absolute brick shithouse, but that's gonna take a process, because of course there was a lot of loose skin before any of my surgeries. Some of the clothes just didn't really look very flattering on me. So I understand why they wouldn't have shared those pictures in order to get their audience engaged. I get it. Again, not against the brand. This one is just me. It's me issue. And so unfortunately, because I didn't really fit, I guess, the mold of the standard ALPHALETE athlete, I wasn't getting as much support as I initially thought I was gonna get, and that's kind of where things got a little weird. Bringing us to the straw that broke the camel's back. So this is kind of a 2-parter, because I definitely saw the second part coming, but, and this is just purely an emotional response of mine. There was obviously no malice intent behind it, but I guess there was a photo shoot that happened very close to where I live, like in the same city, and there was a gathering of the athletes and stuff, and I didn't even know about it until I saw it on some people's stories. So like, in that moment, I think it was just a bit of FOMO, where it's like, oh, I wish I would have been there, because in their stories, everybody's like, oh, the team's all here, and I'm like, oh, I'm just a few blocks away. But again, I know, I understand, because I didn't fit the mold of the clothing they were going to be shooting for that photo shoot. I had no value being there. It was just, like I said, a purely emotional response. So leading all this to that, obviously my sales weren't what we had initially anticipated when the contract was first brought up. And of course, I'm not going to say what that is. But due to that, they wanted to bring me back from the athlete program into the affiliate program, which, like I said, not going to bring up the contract, but you can assume that there would be less support in every aspect of things going forward. And so that's kind of when I realized that if they were essentially demoting me from the athlete program into the affiliate program, that meant that benefit to them wasn't apparent. That indicated to me that I wasn't serving them in the way that the business, in a way that would make sense for their business. But the fact that my sales weren't where anybody thought they would be meant that they weren't serving me, and inherently I wasn't serving you. And so if the apparel that is made doesn't really fit my avatar, which is somebody on their weight loss journey trying to, make change, that means that by making these videos, making this content, whatever, supporting this, that means you guys can't even fully stand behind me to build this thing together. At which point made me realize that the partnership just didn't really make sense. And so, like I said from the very get-go, this is not on ALPHALETE. This is not on you. This is actually on me, because I want to represent brands that A, support me, but more importantly, that by me presenting it can support you, which is why I had this conversation with one of the leadership members at ALPHALETE, and which is why it was the exact same tone that I'm having here. It's not a personal emotional response. It's purely a business decision, to where I said, hey, I understand that obviously this team does both ALPHALETE and Summer Shredding, and Summer Shredding is the brand that I will forever tie a piece of my identity to because of how it personally saved my life. So if you would have me still be able to help with Summer Shredding, I would love to help in whatever capacity that would look like, and was met with nothing but respect, in the sense that I was able to do this, in a professional manner, and by presenting the fact that I still want to be on board and help with Summer Shredding. Which leaves us to the big question: what am I going to do next? Who am I going to be joining in terms of clothing sponsorship? Let's get a drum roll. I don't have anything to drum roll on. And so it's going to be nobody. At least not yet. Because I want to hear from you guys. Like, you are the reason I do this. You are the reason I'm able to keep doing this. So just let me know, what companies, is there any companies that you would like for me to support, companies that you think I would identify with according, through you? To be honest, I'm not in a rush. I honestly don't plan on accepting any sort of deal unless somebody comes at me with some crazy offer, but I don't really intend on having any sort of deal with anybody at the moment because I want to make sure that going forward, and this isn't just for clothing, but I want to make sure that going forward, any single company that I bring into my ecosphere to present to you is a company that we can all use and benefit from. So let me know what you guys think of the whole situation. I'd love to hear your feedback, your comments. If there's any companies that you would like to see, you know, or presented, let me know too. That'd be pretty cool. But otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. And as always, let's change the world together.